The twin sons of Argan scorched Lieutenant James Blackwood's back as he trudged through the shifting sands, his combat boots sinking with each step. Sweat streaked through the dust, caking his rugged face, his dark brown eyes squinting against the glare. At 32, his 63 frame was lean and muscular from years in Earth's Special Forces, now serving a 3-week contract with the Galactic Bounty Hunters Guild. The pay promised to clear his Earth debts, but the relentless danger of Argan was testing his resolve. "Remind me why I signed up for this hellhole," he muttered, adjusting the plasma rifle slung across his broad shoulders. A ping from his wrist communicator interrupted his thoughts. "Blackwood, status report," Commander Drell's gruff voice crackled. "Still alive, sir. No sign of the Crimson Reavers in this sector," James replied, wiping his brow. "Keep moving. Intel suggests a temporary base near the Dune Sea. Your squad's converging on you," Drell ordered. James sighed. "Copy that." The Crimson Reavers, a ruthless pirate band, had ravaged 3 Outer Rim colonies, leaving hundreds dead. The guild had assembled an elite team, and James, the only human, was somehow among them. Cresting a dune, he spotted movement and dropped prone, pulling out his binoculars. 5 Reavers in red armor surrounded a damaged skimmer with a 6th figure working on it. "Well, well," he whispered, zooming in. "Gotcha." He tried his communicator. "Commander, eyes on Reavers 2 clicks southwest." Static answered. Argan's magnetic storms were notorious for disrupting signals. "Fantastic," he muttered, waiting for a squad that might not arrive or gathering intel alone were his options. The choice was made when a Reaver broke off, heading his way. James slid behind rock formations, controlling his breathing as the pirate's footsteps neared. Suddenly, a blur of motion erupted from a nearby rock. A lithe figure tackled the pirate with silent efficiency, disarming and knocking him out in seconds. James raised his rifle, but a melodic voice stopped him. "I wouldn't human." The figure turned, revealing a striking alien woman. Her skin was a vibrant blue, shimmering in the harsh sunlight, with silver-white hair and a high ponytail framing a face both exotic and beautiful. Sharp, pointed ears peeked through her hair, and her violet eyes, sharp with cautious interest, locked onto his. Her tactical gear, a gray top with a deep neckline and form-fitting pants laden with weapons, hugged her athletic frame. "You're not with them," she stated, lowering her blaster slightly. "Nor you," James replied, keeping his rifle steady. "James Blackwood, Galactic Bounty Hunters Guild." "Zara Vyn, independent contractor," she said, a smile playing on her lips. "Prefer tactical problem solver." James lowered his weapon. "Those Reavers, they hit your colony." Her violet eyes darkened. "Leary IV last month, they killed everyone. I've been tracking them since." James weighed his options. With comms down and his squad AWOL, an ally was his best bet. "What's your plan? Kill them and use their skimmer to find their base," Zara said, her determination palpable. James grinned. "Direct, I like it." As the sun set, casting long shadows, they planned their attack. Zara would take the guard and skimmer pair. James would handle the tent. Her stealth was uncanny, moving like a specter across the sand. At her signal, they struck. Zara neutralized the guard with a chokehold, then dispatched the skimmer pair with precise blaster shots. James sliced into the tent, killing one pirate with a knife to the skull and snapping the other's neck. Blaster fire erupted outside as Zara engaged the remaining Reaver. James joined her, dropping the last pirate with a headshot. "Not bad, human," Zara said, nodding appreciatively. "It's James," he corrected, searching the camp. A data pad revealed coordinates for the Reaver's main base in the Obsidian Ravine. "Jackpot," he said, showing Zara. Her blue skin caught the fatting light as she leaned close, her scent of exotic spices and weapon oil oddly captivating. "A day's journey," she noted. "We go now before they move." With no comms to his squad, James agreed. They loaded the skimmer and sped across the cooling desert. As night fell, the temperature plummeted. "We need shelter," James suggested, spotting caves in the distance. Zara guided them to a hidden crevice shielded from scanners. Inside, they built a small fire, its light dancing on Zara's blue skin, revealing subtle shifting patterns. "Why hunt the Reavers?" James asked, cleaning his rifle. "They took everything," Zara said, her voice steady but pained. "My family, my home. I was off-planet, returned to ruins." "I'm sorry," James said quietly. "Why the guild for you?" "Needed the money," he replied, sidestepping his past. "Ex-Special Forces, Earth's not home anymore." They shared a quiet moment, the fire crackling. James studied Zara's profile, her pointed ears, the intricate patterns on her blue skin. "You're starring," she said, not looking up. "You're interesting," he admitted. Her violet eyes met his, a faint purple blush tinting her blue cheeks. "Humans are resilient," she said, accepting his thermal jacket as the cold deepened. "Get some rest," James said, taking first watch. "Wake me in 4. "Thanks for the jacket," Zara murmured, settling against the cave wall. As she slept, James watched her, intrigued by her strength and allure. Their shared mission felt like the start of something deeper. Blaster fire woke James at dawn. "Company," Zara shouted, returning fire from the cave entrance. 8 Reavers had found their skimmer. Pinned down, they retreated to a back exit James had scouted. "You didn't mention this," Zara said, surprised. "Always have an escape," he replied, squeezing through a crevice after her. They emerged on a rocky ledge, descending a treacherous path as pirates fired from above. James shot one, his body plummeting past. When a blast crumbled the path beneath Zara, she teetered on the edge. James grabbed her wrist, pulling her back. "I've got you," he grunted, muscles straining. "Thanks," she said, gratitude flashing in her violet eyes. At the ravine's bottom, Zara's precise shots dropped 2 more pursuers. "Impressive," James noted. I'm good, she replied, holstering her blaster. With the remaining pirates circling around, they set a grueling pace through the ravine. By midday, the heat was brutal, and Zara winced, clutching her side. You're hurt, James said, spotting blood. It's nothing, she insisted, but he wasn't convinced. Let me see. Zara hesitated, then began removing her top. No peeking, human, she warned, a purple blush deepening her blue skin. James turned away, amused by her modesty. She held a cloth for cover as he cleaned a jagged gash from rock shrapnel, knotting the swirling patterns on her skin. These markings, he said, applying a bandage, they're beautiful. They're unique to each Lyrian, she explained, pulling her top back on. Thanks. A dust cloud signaled approaching vehicles. James spotted a boulder-filled canyon ahead. We'll ambush them there, he said, outlining a plan. Using a sonic detonator, they disoriented the 7 pirates in 2 transports. In the crossfire, they killed 6, with James taking down a flanker in close combat. Zara saved him from another, her shot precise. Nice plan, she said, salvaging supplies. They commandeered a transport, James driving as Zara rested her wound. We make a good team, he said quietly. Don't get used to it, she replied, but her tone held uncertainty. The obsidian ravine loomed ahead, its black walls their path to vengeance. The ravine's glassy rocks reflected moonlight as James and Zara approached the reaver base on foot, abandoning their vehicle to avoid detection. Zara pointed to a fissure. Service tunnels tight, but we'll manage. They crawled through, her blue skin brushing against him in the confined space. Emerging in a maintenance room, they found reaver uniforms, jumpsuits with red insignia. No peeking, Zara teased, a purple blush coloring her blue cheeks as they changed. James caught a glimpse of her elegant form, the patterns on her skin like living art. Professional curiosity, he quipped, earning a skeptical look. In disguise, they infiltrated the base, blending with bustling pirates. Zara hacked into the command center during a distraction, an alert about an unearthed weapon. Pre-collapse tech, she whispered, displaying a glowing cylinder. A matter disruptor, planet killer. They're targeting Lyria, James said, nodding deployment orders. Zara's violet eyes hardened. We destroy it. In the maintenance shafts, they reached the excavation chamber where Captain Morak, a gaunt, pale blue alien, oversaw the weapon. Zara's hatred flared. He led the raid on her colony. Their plan shifted when they saw a Lyrian prisoner, a female with silver-white hair. She's from my colony, Zara gasped. I thought they were all dead. We save her, then the weapon, James decided. Zara created a diversion with an explosion, allowing James to free the prisoner Leela and neutralize her guards. As he set charges, Morak confronted him, blaster raised. I wouldn't human. Zara, bloodied but defiant, was dragged in. Morak taunted them, revealing plans to use Lyria's phase crystals for galactic dominance. James kept him talking, giving Zara an opening. She broke free, attacking her captors as James fired at Morak, who dodged. The chamber erupted in chaos. James detonated the charges early, destabilizing the weapon. Its red glow intensified, threatening collapse. Leela held off Morak, shouting, "Go!" As James and Zara escaped through the shaft. The base imploded as they stole a transport ship, Zara targeting Morak's escape pod. For my people, she said, destroying it. As they fled, Zara's tears streaked her blue cheeks. It's over, James said, taking her hand. My colony's avenged, she replied, but Leela. She chose to give us a chance, he said softly. In the ship's cabin, their shared grief and adrenaline ignited a kiss, deepening into a passionate union. Zara's blue skin, warm against his, glowed faintly with shifting patterns. Afterward, curled against him, she murmured, the stars cross paths for a reason. To remind us life persists, James agreed, stroking her silver-white hair. Commander Drell's call interrupted. Mission accomplished, sir, James reported. Reavers finished, weapon destroyed. I need personal leave. Zara suggested a Lyrian outpost in Vega. A place to rebuild, she said. James set the course, their future uncertain but together. 6 months later, the Lyrian outpost on Vega's forested moon thrived with 300 survivors. James and Zara's home overlooked the tree line, fragrant with night-blooming flowers. Zara, her blue skin radiant, approached James on their balcony, her abdomen gently curved with their unborn child, a human-Lyrian hybrid, a miracle defying extinction. Feeling okay? James asked, touching her belly. Morning sickness is gone, she said, smiling. Elder Vara says it's normal. The Lyrian Council, led by Elder Vara, revealed their child's hybrid nature suggested ancient human-Lyrian compatibility, predating the Great Collapse. A new beginning, Vara declared, for both species. The Guild requested James for a final Reaver cleanup, but he resigned, his priorities shifted. This is what matters, he told Zara, hand on her belly, feeling their child's flutter. At the outpost's monthly celebration, James proposed with an obsidian ring inlaid with Vega crystals. Marry me, Zara, he said, blending earth and Lyrian traditions. Yes, she whispered, tears in her violet eyes. As they kissed under the stars, the community cheered, celebrating a union that symbolized hope. Later, Zara teased, remember when I said no peeking on Argan? Best order I disobeyed, James replied, pulling her close. Their journey from a desert ambush to a galactic rebirth proved that even in darkness, stars align, forging connections that change worlds. The stolen transport ship sliced through Argan's starry night, its engines a low hum as Lieutenant James Blackwood piloted toward the Galactic Bounty Hunters Guild's rendezvous point. His 63 frame, honed by years in Earth Special Forces, was tense but steady, his dark brown eyes scanning the controls. Beside him, Zara Vyn, the blue-skinned Lyrian mercenary, monitored the scanners, her silver-white hair glinting in the cockpit's dim light. Her violet eyes, flecked with silver, were sharp with focus, but a faint purple blush on her blue cheeks betrayed the grief and determination swirling within her. The destruction of the Crimson Reaver's base and their planet-killer weapon had avenged her colony, but the loss of Leela, a surviving Lyrian, weighed heavily. James glanced at her, sensing an odd echo of her emotions. Grief resolved something deeper in his mind. "You okay?" he asked, his voice cutting through the engine's drone. Zara's fingers tightened on the console. "Leela gave us a chance to end it. I thought I'd lost everyone." Her violet eyes met his, wide with surprise. "Wait, did you feel that?" What?" James asked, frowning. "Your thoughts, like they're in my head." Her blue skin paled slightly, shimmering under the cockpit's lights. "That's impossible," she murmured, touching her temple. "Unless," before she could finish, the comm crackled. "Blackwood report," Commander Drell's gruff voice broke through, Argan's magnetic storms finally subsiding. "Mission accomplished, sir," James replied. "Reaver base destroyed, weapon neutralized, heading to rendezvous." "Outstanding," Drell said, "but there's a complication. Lyrian vessel Star's Lament is en route to intercept you. They're demanding custody of Zara Vyn for violating cultural protocols." James's grip tightened on the controls. "What protocols?" Zara's mental presence surged, a mix of shock and fear. "It's about us," she said aloud, her voice trembling. "What we did in the ship after the base." James's mind flashed to their passionate encounter, her blue skin warm against his, patterns glowing faintly. "Explain," he said, keeping his tone steady. "Lyrians have bonding rituals," she said, her purple blush deepening. "Physical intimacy, especially after intense shared experiences, can trigger a neural link. I didn't know it could happen with a human." "A neural link," James repeated, feeling her anxiety echo in his chest. "Like what I'm feeling now," she nodded. "It's rare, sacred. The Lyrian Council will see it as unauthorized, especially with an outsider." The comm pinged again. "Blackwood ETA to rendezvous is 2 hours," Drell said. "The Star's Lament will reach you first. Prepare for boarding." "Copy," James said, mind racing. "Zara, what happens if they take you?" Her violet eyes darkened. "They'll sever the bond. It's painful. Most don't survive with their minds intact." James's jaw clenched. "Not happening." He felt a surge of protectiveness, amplified by the strange connection in his mind. The Guild's outpost, a fortified base on Argan's edge, was a hive of activity as James and Zara landed. Guild operatives prepped for follow-up missions against Reaver remnants, and James's squad greeted him with nods of respect. Commander Drell, a grizzled Tarsian with 4 arms, approached. "Hell of a job, Blackwood, but we need to talk about your friend." Zara stood beside James, her blue skin catching the outpost's harsh lights, her tactical gear still stained with sand and blood. "I'm no threat to the Guild," she said, her voice firm despite the bandage on her side. "Not my call," Drell said, gesturing to a viewscreen. "The Lyrians are here." The Star's Lament loomed in orbit, its iridescent hull pulsing like a living organism. A shuttle docked, and 3 Lyrians emerged, their blue skin adorned with shifting patterns far more intricate than Zara's. The leader, Elder Vara, had ancient violet eyes and an air of authority. "James Blackwood, Zara Vyn," she intoned, her voice melodic through a translator. "You formed an unauthorized bond, a violation of Lyrian law." James stepped forward. "It was accidental, we didn't know." Vara's patterns flickered with skepticism. "Ignorance does not absolve. Zara must return to Lyria IV for purification." "No," James said, his voice hard. Zara's hand brushed his, her mental presence urging calm. "There's another way," she said aloud. "The trial of shared valor, an ancient ritual where bonded pairs prove their worth through combat. Victory grants cultural recognition." Vara's eyes narrowed. "The trial hasn't been invoked in centuries. It's dangerous, potentially fatal." "Less fatal than your purification," James countered, feeling Zara's resolve bolster his own. Drell interjected. "This bond, does it explain how you took down the Reaver base so efficiently?" Zara nodded. "During the fight, I sensed James's tactical instincts and he tapped into my Lyrian perception. We anticipated the Reaver's moves." James felt it again, her thoughts sharpening his focus like in the canyon ambush. "It saved our asses," he added. Vara's patterns shifted, contemplative. "Your bond shows unusual strength. We must examine it." The Lyrians surrounded Zara, their hands hovering near her head, patterns pulsing in unison. They recoiled, their blue skin flaring brightly. "The resonance of unity," Vara whispered. "A myth from before the Great Collapse." "What's that?" James asked, his hand on Zara's shoulder, grounding her. "A prophecy," Vara explained. "A bond between a Lyrian and a complementary species unlocking lost abilities. It drove the Reaver's ancestors, the Shadowkin, into retreat millennia ago." Drell's 4 eyes widened. "Reaver remnants are regrouping in the Outer Rim. If this bond gives you an edge, it does," Zara said, her mental voice clear in James's mind. "In the canyon, I sensed their tech signatures before they appeared." Vara turned to James. "Human approach." He complied, and the Lyrian's examination sent a jolt through him, Zara's emotions amplifying his own. "Impossible," Vara said. "Your neural patterns align perfectly with hers." "What does it mean?" James asked, feeling Zara's awe through their link. "The resonance could disrupt the Reaver's neural network," Vara said. "Their tech relies on a hive-like command structure. Your bond could disable it." But James pressed, sensing hesitation. "The resonance requires completion," Vara said. "A ritual of physical and mental union performed at the bond's nexus." Zara's embarrassment flooded their link. "The ship," she murmured privately. "Where we connected," James fought a grin, "and this ritual would stop the Reavers." "Not stop," Vara corrected. "Transform. The resonance could sever their neural network, granting them individual choice." Drell leaned forward. "The Reavers are planning a major assault on Vega's colonies. This could neutralize them without a full-scale war." Zara's violet eyes met James's. It's our best shot, she thought, but it's risky. Riskier than purification? He asked aloud, squeezing her hand. She shook her head, a small smile forming. Not even close. James turned to Vara. We'll do the ritual when? When the star's lament aligns with Argan's moons, Vara said. 6 hours. The guild's medical bay, repurposed for the Lyrian ritual, glowed with bioluminescent crystals from the star's lament. The walls shimmered, casting patterns that danced across Zara's blue skin as she prepared with Elder Vara. James, in a Lyrian ceremonial robe that left his scarred chest bare, stood nearby, luminescent ink tracing patterns on his skin to mirror Zara's natural markings. His dark brown eyes held a mix of determination and unease. The bond's implications, its power, its risks were becoming real. Drell approached, his forearms crossed. Blackwood, there's a catch. The text warned the resonance could burn out your neural link, maybe permanently. James felt Zara's fear spike through their bond. Meaning we'd lose this connection, he asked, his voice steady despite the dread in his gut. Or worse, Vara added, her pattern somber. Ancient pairs sometimes didn't survive the neural strain. Zara's hand found his, her cool blue skin grounding him. We don't have to do this, she thought privately. We could run, find a quiet corner of the galaxy. The temptation was strong, not out of cowardice, but because Zara's presence, her fierce spirit, her violet eyes had become vital to him. Leave us, James said to Drell and Vara. We need a moment. Alone, he faced Zara, their hands still joined. What do you think? He asked, his voice echoing in their bond. I think a stolen kiss and a stolen ship changed everything, she said, her mental voice warm with humor and fear. I don't want to lose you. Nor I you, James admitted, his thumb tracing her blue knuckles. But Vega's colonies, there's another way, Zara said, her eyes lighting with an idea. I sensed it in Vara's thoughts. The text mentioned transformation, not just destruction. We could reconfigure the Reaver's network, not obliterate it. James nodded, seeing the parallel to a non-lethal takedown. That's a hell of a gamble. We'd be improvising with alien tech. When has that stopped humans? Zara teased, her smile sending warmth through their link. You thrive on impossible odds, he chuckled. Humanity, fuck yeah, exactly, she agreed, her violet eyes sparkling. They summoned Drell and Vara, outlining their plan to modulate the resonance. Vara's patterns flickered skeptically. It's never been done, the risk remains. But if it works, Drell interjected, we neutralize the Reavers without losing your bond. It's worth a shot. The ritual began under Argan's twin moons, visible through the bay's viewport. Lyrian chants filled the air, their melody vibrating the crystals. James and Zara stood at the center, hands joined, their markings glowing in sync. As the chants peaked, Vara instructed, complete the bond. Their lips met and James felt their consciousness merge, a dizzying union that stretched beyond the bay across the stars. They sensed the Reaver's neural network, a hive-like web coordinating their fleet. Now Zara's thoughts melded with his, we adjust the pattern. They visualized a new configuration, introducing individual choice to the Reaver's network. The effort was excruciating, pain lancing through their shared mind. James faltered, but Zara's resolve steadied him. Stay with me, he projected. Always, she replied, fierce and unwavering. With a final push, they released the modified pattern. It rippled through the Reaver's network, transforming it. The hive structure dissolved, replaced by individual consciousnesses still linked but free. The strain eased, their bond shifting, not burned out, but deeper, more intimate. They returned to awareness, foreheads touching, hands clasped. The markings on James's skin and Zara's blue body had faded to faint traces like scars of their bond. What happened? Drell demanded. We reconfigured their network, James said, voice hoarse. They're individuals now, choosing not to attack. Zara added, their fleet halted its advance toward Vega. Vara's patterns pulsed with awe. You fulfilled a prophecy, uniting species to transform an enemy. And your bond, Drell asked. James felt Zara's presence steady and warm. Changed but stronger, he said, squeezing her hand. Humans, Vara said, her tone a mix of exasperation and admiration, rewriting fate. The Star's Lament prepared to depart, its crew coordinating with the Guild to monitor the Reaver's transformed fleet. James and Zara stood in the outpost command center, her blue skin glowing under the lights, his arm around her waist. Their bond, now a gentle hum, felt like an extension of themselves. We're not done, Zara said, her violet eyes meeting his. The Reavers may be free, but their remnants need guidance, James nodded. And the Guild will want to know how we pulled this off, Drell approached. You two are a damn asset, the Vega colonies owe you. But the Lyrians want you to report to their council for further study. Zara's patterns shifted defiantly. We're not specimens, agreed, James said. We'll help, but on our terms. Vara joined them, her ancient eyes softening. Your bond is a bridge between our peoples. The council will honor your choice, but we ask you to visit Lyria IV. Your resonance could inspire our revival. James felt Zara's hope through their link. We'll consider it, she said, her hand in his. But first we need time. As they left the command center, James pulled Zara close. Where to now? He asked, their bond humming with possibility. Somewhere quiet, she replied, her smile mischievous. Unless you need another tactical problem to solve, he laughed, kissing her forehead. Only if it involves you, Blue. Their bond, born in a stolen ship under fire, had reshaped the galaxy. Whatever came next, they'd face it together, human and Lyrian, united by a prophecy they'd made their own. The Guild's medical bay on Argan's outpost had been transformed into a sacred Lyrian sanctuary, its sterile walls draped with bioluminescent crystals from the Star's Lament. The crystals pulsed with a soft violet glow, casting intricate patterns that danced across the room like ripples on a cosmic sea. The examination table, where James Blackwood and Zara Vyn had first solidified their bond in the chaos of their escape, was now covered in shimmering Lyrian fabric, its surface reflecting the light in waves of turquoise and silver. James stood at the room's center, his 63 frame clad in a ceremonial Lyrian robe that left his scarred chest bare. Luminescent ink traced swirling patterns across his tan skin, mirroring the natural markings of Zara's blue body. His dark brown eyes, hardened by years in Earth's special forces, held a mix of resolve and trepidation as he prepared for the ritual of completion. Elder Vara, her ancient blue skin adorned with complex patterns, applied the final symbols to James's forehead with a steady hand. These markings channel the resonance of unity, she explained, her melodic voice resonating with reverence. They align your neural patterns with Zara, amplifying your bond's potential. Zara entered, her vibrant blue skin glowing under the crystal light, her silver-white hair cascading in loose waves over her shoulders. Her ceremonial garb, a flowing garment that hugged her athletic curves, shimmered with patterns that complemented James's markings. Her violet eyes, flecked with silver, met his, and their bond hummed with a shared intensity, anticipation, fear, and an unspoken trust that had grown through their trials on Argan. The weight of the prophecy, the looming Reaver threat, and their deepening connection pressed heavily on them both. Commander Drell, the four-armed Tarsian leader of the Galactic Bounty Hunters Guild, approached, his grizzled face etched with concern. Blackwood Vyn, before you proceed, you need to know the risks. The Lyrian text warned that the resonance could overload your neural link, potentially burning it out. James felt Zara's fear spike through their bond, a sharp echo in his chest. Meaning we'd lose this connection? He asked, his voice steady despite the dread coiling in his gut. Or worse, Vara added, her skin patterns shifting to a somber cadence. In ancient times, some bonded pairs didn't survive the neural strain, their minds collapsed under the effort. Zara's cool blue hand found his, her touch grounding him. We could walk away, she thought privately, her mental voice trembling. Find a quiet planet, live for ourselves. The temptation was visceral. James hadn't expected to find someone like Zara, her fierce determination, her shimmering blue skin, her violet eyes that saw through his guarded exterior. Yet the Reaver's threat to Vega's colonies, millions of lives, loomed large. We need to talk, he said aloud to Drell and Vara. Alone. When the room cleared, James faced Zara, their hands still joined. The crystal's light played across her blue skin, highlighting the intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with her heartbeat. What do you think? He asked, his voice echoing through their bond. I think a stolen kiss in a stolen ship turned my world upside down, she said, her mental voice laced with humor and vulnerability. I don't want to lose you, James, not after everything. He brushed a strand of silver-white hair from her face, his thumb tracing her blue cheek. I feel the same, but those colonies, we can't ignore them. Zara's violet eyes lit with a spark of inspiration. There's another way. I sensed it in Vara's thoughts during the preparations. The texts don't just speak of destruction, they mention transformation. We could reconfigure the Reaver's neural network, not shatter it. James nodded, seeing the parallel to a non-lethal takedown he'd used in special forces. That's a hell of a long shot. We'd be improvising with tech we barely understand. She smiled, her purple blush deepening her blue skin. When has that stopped a human? You thrive on rewriting the impossible. He chuckled, the tension easing. Humanity, fuck yeah, exactly, she agreed, her mental presence warm with affection. We can do this together. They summoned Drell and Vara, outlining their plan to modulate the resonance. Vara's patterns flickered skeptically. No bonded pair has attempted this. The risk to your bond, your lives, remains. But if it works, Drell interjected, his four eyes gleaming with strategic interest, you could neutralize the Reavers without a war. I've seen you two in action. If anyone can pull this off, it's you. James squeezed Zara's hand, feeling her resolve bolster his. We're in, he said. Let's do this. Vara nodded. The ritual must occur at the bond's nexus where your connection was forged. The ship, Zara said, her blush deepening as she glanced at James, where we connected. He fought a grin, memories of their passionate encounter flashing through their bond. Guess we're heading back to the scene of the crime. The stolen transport ship, now docked at the Guild's hangar, was prepared for the ritual. Lyrian technicians installed crystals along its interior, transforming the cockpit into a glowing sanctuary. The hum of the engines mixed with the crystal's faint vibrations, creating a harmonic resonance that seemed to pulse with the desert night outside. James and Zara stood at the ship's center, their ceremonial robes glowing under the violet light, their markings aligned. The Lyrian council, led by Vara, chanted in a melodic cadence, their voices weaving through the air like a living current. Drell stood by the hatch, his four arms crossed. The Reaver fleet is 8 hours from Vega. Whatever you're doing, make it count. James nodded, his hand in Zara. Her blue skin was cool yet warm with life, her violet eyes steady despite the stakes. Ready, he thought. Always, she replied, her mental voice fierce. Vara raised her hands, the chants reaching a crescendo. Complete the bond. Their lips met and the world dissolved. Their consciousness merged, a seamless fusion that transcended physical boundaries. James felt Zara's essence, her courage, her pain, her love blend with his own, their minds stretching across the stars. They sensed the Reaver's neural network, a vast web of interconnected signals coordinating their fleet's movements. It was a hive-like structure, rigid and unyielding, binding each Reaver to a collective will. Now, Zara's thoughts melded with his, we reshape it. They visualized a new pattern, not a destructive pulse, but a reconfiguration that introduced individual choice. The effort was immense, pain lancing through their shared consciousness like blaster fire. James's mind strained, memories of past battles, Earth's wars, Argan's sands threatening to overwhelm him. Zara's presence steadied him, her Lyrian perception guiding their focus. Stay with me, he projected, his mental voice raw. Never leaving, she replied, her determination a beacon in the storm. With a final surge, they released the modified pattern. It spread like cosmic ripples, reaching the Reaver fleet in seconds. The network didn't collapse, it transformed. The rigid hierarchy dissolved, replaced by individual consciousnesses still linked but free to choose. The strain on James and Zara's bond eased, their connection not burning out but deepening, becoming less overwhelming yet more intimate, like a steady pulse rather than a supernova. They returned to awareness, foreheads pressed together, hands clasped. The markings on James's skin and Zara's blue body had faded to faint, scar-like traces, a testament to their bond's evolution. The crystals dimmed, their light softening to a gentle glow. What happened? Drell demanded, stepping forward. We reconfigured their network, James said, his voice hoarse. They're individuals now, choosing their own paths, Zara added, her violet eyes bright. Their fleet halted its advance on Vega. There. Negotiating with each other, Vara's patterns pulsed with astonishment. You've done what our ancestors could not. The Shadowkin were defeated, you freed them. And your bond? Drell asked, his four eyes narrowing. James felt Zara's presence, a warm hum in his mind. Stronger, he said, squeezing her hand. Different but stronger. Humans, Vara said, her tone blending exasperation and awe, always defying fate. The guild outpost buzzed with activity as reports flooded in. The Reaver fleet, now a collection of independent ships, had ceased hostilities. Some crews surrendered to the guild, others scattered to the outer rim, debating their newfound freedom. James and Zara stood in the command center, her blue skin catching the light of hollow displays, his arm around her waist. Their bond, now a gentle connection, felt like an extension of their senses, a quiet reassurance of each other's presence. Drell approached, his four arms gesturing to a view screen. Vega's colonies are safe thanks to you two, but the Lyrians want you on Lyria IV to study this resonance. Zara's patterns shifted defiantly. We're not lab specimens. Agreed, James said. We'll cooperate, but on our terms. Vara joined them, her ancient violet eyes softening. Your bond is a bridge between our peoples. It could revive the Lyrians, perhaps even unite us with humanity. Will you visit Lyria IV? James felt Zara's hope through their link. We'll come, she said, her hand in his, but first we need time to process this. As they left the command center, James pulled Zara aside, the desert night stretching beyond the outpost viewport. Where to now, Blue? He asked, their bond humming with possibility. She smiled, her purple blush tinting her blue cheeks. Somewhere quiet, where we can figure out what this bond means for us. He kissed her forehead, her silver-white hair soft against his lips. Sounds like a plan. 6 months later, the Lyrian outpost on Vega's forested moon thrived, a beacon of hope for the near-extinct species. Nearly 400 survivors had gathered, rebuilding their culture under the twin moon's light. James and Zara's home, a modest dwelling overlooking the treeline, was filled with the scent of night-blooming flowers, a stark contrast to Argan's harsh sands. James stood on their balcony, his dark brown eyes tracing the stars, his mind reflecting on their journey from a chance encounter in a desert to a prophecy fulfilled. Zara approached, her blue skin radiant in the moonlight, her silver-white hair loose around her shoulders. The gentle curve of her abdomen was unmistakable, a miracle that defied Lyrian biology, a human Lyrian child, their unborn daughter or son. Credit for your thoughts, she asked, wrapping her arms around his waist, her cool touch grounding him. Just marveling at how far we've come, he said, covering her hands with his. From dodging blaster fire to this. She rested her head against his back, her mental presence warm. Any regrets? Not one, he said, turning to face her. Her violet eyes shimmered with emotion, the patterns on her blue skin glowing faintly. You? None, she replied, her smile soft. Though I didn't expect a human to steal my heart. Gold brushing a strand of hair from her face. Blame that stolen ship or your bad habit of not checking for peeking humans. Her laugh sent ripples through their bond. You're never letting that go, are you? Nope, he teased, pulling her close. The flutter of their child's movement under his hand filled him with awe and terror. How's our little hybrid doing? Growing strong, Zara said, placing her hand over his. Elder Vara says it's unprecedented but healthy, a blend of both our strengths. The Lyrian Council had been studying their pregnancy, revealing that human and Lyrian DNA shared ancient markers, suggesting a shared ancestry predating the Great Collapse. Our child could change everything, Vara had said, her patterns pulsing with hope. A new beginning for both species. James felt the weight of that responsibility, but also a fierce protectiveness. They're poking at you too much, he said, frowning. You're not a science experiment. Zara smiled, her violet eyes reassuring. They mean well. Our daughter or son represents hope for a species on the brink. I can handle a few scans. He nodded, still uneasy. What about names? Lyran tradition starts at conception, she said. For a girl, Lyra after my homeworld. For a boy, Thomas after your father. James's throat tightened. He told her about his father, a soldier lost defending an Earth colony during their long nights together. Perfect, he said softly, kissing her. Their kiss deepened, a familiar passion igniting. Their bond, now a steady hum, amplified every touch, every emotion. Later in their bed, Zara traced the scars on his chest, her blue fingers gentle. The council wants us to lead a delegation to Earth, she said, to explore this shared ancestry. James raised an eyebrow. Earth, haven't been back in years. It's a mess, politics, wars, the usual. But it's your home, she said, her mental voice curious, and our child's heritage. He considered it, the idea of bridging their worlds, both daunting and thrilling. We'll go, but only if you're ready. You and our kid come first. Her smile was radiant, her blue skin glowing with an inner light. I knew there was a reason I kept you around, human. The Vega Outpost's central plaza buzzed with the monthly celebration, a tradition Zara had championed to strengthen the community. Lyrians of all ages danced under the twin moons, their blue skin shimmering with patterns that told stories of their past. James and Zara mingled, her pregnancy drawing curious but respectful glances. The council had declared their child a symbol of hope, a bridge between species. Elder Vara approached, her ancient patterns pulsing gently. Your bond has inspired our people, she said. We've received messages from scattered Lyrian outposts requesting your guidance. James felt Zara's pride through their link. We'll help where we can, he said, but we're not heroes, just two people who got lucky. Lucky, Vara's eyes twinkled. The stars aligned for you as they did for our ancestors. As the celebration continued, James pulled Zara aside to a quiet overlook, the settlement's lights twinkling below. I've got something for you, he said, placing a small object in her hand, a ring of polished obsidian from Argan's ravine inlaid with Vega's luminescent crystals. Zara examined it, understanding dawning in her violet eyes. On Earth, James said, his voice soft, this is how we promise a life together. Marry me, Zara, Earth style, Lyrian style, whatever feels right. Tears shimmered in her eyes as she slipped the ring onto her finger. Yes, she whispered, her mental voice brimming with joy, to all of it. Their kiss sealed the promise, the stars above witnessing a union that transcended species. The community's cheers echoed as they rejoined the celebration, announcing their engagement. Zara leaned close, her voice teasing. Remember when I said no peeking on Argan? Best order I ever broke, James replied, grinning. Got me here, she laughed, her hand on her belly. And here we are rewriting the galaxy. Months later, the Unity, a joint Guild Lyrian vessel, orbited Vega, its sleek hull a testament to their new alliance. James, now a diplomatic liaison, stood in the ship's command center, coordinating talks with the transformed Reavers. Zara, a lead xenocultural advisor, stood beside him, her blue skin radiant in her tailored uniform, her pregnancy now pronounced. Their bond, a subtle hum, allowed seamless coordination, her Lyrian perception complementing his tactical instincts. A Reaver delegate, a former captain named Krax, appeared on the view screen, his once uniform form now distinct with individual markings. Blackwood Vyn, he said, his voice rough through a translator. Your actions freed us from the network. We seek to understand this choice. Zara's voice was steady. It's a journey. Freedom means defining yourselves apart from the collective. Krax's form pulsed, a sign of contemplation. And your bond, how does it function? It's trust, James said, glancing at Zara. Amplified by our connection, it lets us see beyond differences, find strength together. Drell, now overseeing the Unity, nodded. We propose a cooperative framework: trade, tech exchange, mutual defense. Your transformation opens new paths. As talks progressed, James and Zara's bond proved invaluable, anticipating Reaver concerns and guiding negotiations. When a delegate questioned the Guild's motives, Zara's mental nudge helped James craft a response that eased tensions, securing a tentative agreement. Later in their quarters, they stood before a viewport, Vega's forested moon glowing below. We did it, Zara said, her hand in his, her blue skin warm. The Reavers are allies now. We're not done, James replied, his thumb tracing her patterns. The Lyrians want us on Earth, the Guild wants us chasing Reaver stragglers, and our kid about to turn our lives upside down. Zara laughed, her violet eyes sparkling. What's next for us then? He pulled her close, feeling their bond pulse. We keep rewriting the rules together. The journey to Earth was a leap into the unknown. The Unity docked at a Terran orbital station, its gleaming spires a stark contrast to Argan's desolation. James, in a Guild uniform, led Zara through crowded corridors, her blue skin drawing curious stares. Their daughter Lyra, born 3 months prior, rested in a sling against Zara's chest, her tiny blue face framed by silver wisps, her dark brown eyes, James's eyes alert and curious. Earth's council, a mix of military and civilian leaders, greeted them warily. Your child, Admiral Carter said, suggests a genetic link between humans and Lyrians. This could shift galactic alliances. Zara's patterns pulsed confidently. Lyra is proof our species can unite, not just coexist. We're here to explore that potential. James felt her pride, his hand on her back. The Guild and Lyrians propose a joint research initiative, he said, to understand our shared ancestry and strengthen our defenses. Carter nodded, intrigued. And your bond, reports say it's extraordinary. It's us, James said simply, sharing a smile with Zara. It's what let us stop the Reavers and build this future. Negotiations stretched over weeks, but their bond made them a formidable team, navigating Earth's politics with the same precision they'd used against the Reavers. Lyra, a living symbol of unity, charmed even the sternest council members, her tiny hand grasping James's finger during meetings. Back on Vega, the outpost had grown into a bustling hub, a model for human-Lyrian cooperation. James and Zara's home was now filled with Lyra's laughter, her hybrid nature a blend of human resilience and Lyrian grace. One evening, as they watched the twin moons rise, Zara traced the obsidian ring on her finger. We've changed everything, she said, her blue skin glowing softly. From a desert fight to this. James kissed her, Lyra cooing between them. All because you told me not to peek. Her laugh echoed through their bond. Best mistake I ever made. As they stood together, the stars above seemed to pulse with their bond, a quiet, enduring connection that had transformed a galaxy. From a chance encounter on Argan to a family forging a new era, James and Zara had proven that even in the darkest voids, stars align, creating life, love, and hope.